Welcome back to Pack a Day with Bloomburrow. We're on pack number 8. I also have wanted to make a correction in at least one of the previous videos. I said I thought the booster box had 24 booster packs. It actually has 36 booster packs. So we'll be at this 12 packs longer than I had initially expected. I believe the collector's boosters are 24 packs, but play boosters, you get a full draft set of 36, which makes sense. I must have gotten my wires crossed, and was wondering, like, once upon a time it was 36 booster packs to a booster box, and you would go through an entire booster box for a single draft. Now, do stores have to open more than one box for just a single draft pod to fire? And no, because I was completely wrong about how many packs are in the box. So, whatever. Anyway, we're on pack number 8. So, let's go ahead and get her open. With this, we will have opened a single pack per player in a normal 8-man booster draft pod. All right, my fingers don't work today. There we go. We got an art card. Well, we'll find out what it is later. We'll start things off. It's Bonebind Orator, a 2/2 Squirrel Warlock for 2, and you can pay 4 to exile it from your graveyard in order to return another target creature from your graveyard to your hand. The Tree Guard duo. They are frogs, they're rabbits, they're 3/4, they cost 4. When they enter the battlefield, target creature you control gains vigilance and gets +X/+X equal to the number of creatures you control. Pearl of Wisdom for 3 at sorcery speed, but 1 less to cast if you control an otter. Draw 2 cards. Rabbit Response for 4 at instant speed. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until the end of the turn, and if you control a rabbit, you get to scry for 2. Steampath Charger. This guy's great. 2/1 for 2. He's a lizard warlock. You can pay an additional 2 to get a 1/1 version of him, and he and his 1/1 version, when either one of them dies, you deal 1 damage to target player. Tempest Angler. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on him. He's an otter wizard starting at a 2/2. And you cast him for 3. All right, into the uncommons. We have Flame Cash Gecko. For 2, you get a 2/2 Lizard Warlock. When he enters, if an opponent lost life this turn, add black and red to your mana pool, and you can spend 1 and red and discard a card to draw a card. I like this. I like the lizards. If an opponent lost life, get a bonus. It's similar to the Gruul ability from the Return to Ravnica rock. It wasn't Blood Rush, was it? Or maybe I'm thinking of the original Gruul. I think Blood Rush was the Return to Ravnica, and the original Gruul had some sort of ability where it was like if you hit your opponent, this comes in stronger. I like that the lizards are sort of playing in that space, and there's lots of different ways to activate them. I also like that this card has a repeatable effect that's really valuable, being able to sort of loot your deck, discarding before you get to draw, but still being able to sort of cycle through cards to get some value from your increased options. There is a good ability in general, but I also I feel like in the past there have been cards like this that are like, if you meet a condition, add some mana to your mana pool, but then it's like that's all they do, and so they can, even if you go out of your way to meet the condition, they still might whiff because you don't have anything to spend the mana on. I love that this adds an amount of mana that will, if anything else, it'll activate its own ability. Now, tragically, if you have no cards in hand, it will whiff also, but it feels a little bit better than having something generate mana only on a condition that can fail entirely just by you not then having enough mana to cast something else. All right, Tidecaller Mentor. So for 3, including 1 blue and 1 black, you get a rat wizard. He's a 3/3. He has menace, and when he enters the battlefield, if there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. a decently solid card. The double color requirement can be a bit of a restriction, obviously, but in this set, you're going to have a little bit less of a time with it. And getting a 3/3 with Menace for 3 is a pretty good deal. The threshold is just a little extra value there that helps this feel more relevant than a Menace 3/3 might in a later section of the game. All right, Starforged Sword. Costs 4. It's an artifact equipment. You may gift a tapped fish to one of your opponents. When this enters, if you did give them a fish, you attach this to a target creature you control. So you get a free equip if you give your opponent a creature in exchange. The equipped creature gets +3/+3 and loses flying, and it equips for 3. I love this. I love this art. I don't know that this is a particularly strong. All right, technical issues there for a second, but anyway, back to Starforged Sword. I don't know that this is a particularly strong card. +3/+3 is obviously nothing to ignore, but that on a card that costs 4 to play, costs 3 to equip. Yes, there is a free equip condition, but all of this is sort of it's a challenge to get to this point, and it could not be worth the trouble. So I think this is a really fun card because I like the concept of it, even though I'm not sure that I'm going to be drafting this card very frequently. All right, we've got Persistent Marsh Stalker. It's a rat berserker. It's a 3/1 for 2. It gets +1/+0 for each other rat you control. And when you have Threshold, whenever you attack with one or more rats, including this guy, if you've got Threshold, you can pay 2 and a black. If you do, you return this from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped and attacking. All right, so I was a little premature on saying including this guy because obviously this ability is irrelevant if he's the one attacking. But I like that it's for rats. Technically, if you've got Threshold and he's a rat that attacks, there is it is seeing that. It's just not relevant. Anyway, I like this guy. He's a cool little recursive aggro dude. Pretty fun, and I think he might be seeing a little bit of play in like a Rats Matters deck in some areas of Standard, which is not a format I know a lot about, so forgive me if I'm totally off base, but I think this recursive aggro guy has shown up. All right, we have a rare Essence Channeler. It's a 2/1 for 2. If you've lost life this turn, it has flying and vigilance. Whenever you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and whenever it dies, you put its counters on target creature you control. Nice little value, dude. Obviously, the value is very minimal early on, but if your opponents don't deal with them, it's really good. I will say, tragically, I drafted this in a Magic Arena deck, and I just didn't have enough enablers for it, so it was usually a 2/1 with irrelevant abilities, and that did not feel great. But when you've got a good draft deck, or if you've constructed a deck around the kind of abilities that this thing wants to do, gaining life, losing life, using those things for value, this is a really great card, and this is the kind of card that I love. I love playing with life. I love doing life attrition strategies, and I love building a giant monster by sort of inexorably adding +1/+1 counters to it. I also like that this, whenever you gain life, could trigger multiple times in a turn if you have multiple abilities that are going to give you different life. So, say, even if you have 3 copies of this same creature on the battlefield that say, when a creature enters, you gain 1 life. You play this out, there's going to be 3 of those abilities on the stack. They will each trigger its whenever you gain life ability, and you get 3+1/+1 counters right there. So the counters in particular are very, very easy to build around here, and I love this kind of thing. All right. Oh, shit. We got a mythic behind our rare. It's Igra, Eater of All, Igra, How are you saying it? I think it's Igra. This is a 6/6 for 5, including a black and a green. It's an elemental cat. It has ward, so if you target it, you have to sacrifice a food, or the targeting ability gets canceled. Um, all the other creatures are food in addition to their other types and have the normal food ability. Pay 2, tap this, sacrifice it to gain 3 life. Um, of course, the any creatures with summoning sickness would not be able to activate this ability because they would not be able to tap themselves. But I like that its ward ability forces you to sacrifice your creatures if you don't already have a way to generate food. That's pretty devastating in a lot of situations. And whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this. So if you are sacrificing food to it but not managing to kill it, it's just getting stronger in the process and you're losing value. Or if you are playing it in, for example, a black and green squirrels deck that cares about having food on the battlefield, because you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be whenever an opponent sacrifices food. It's just whenever any food is sacrificed. You get value that way too. So you can build around this with the intention of making it huge and beating your opponent to death with it, even if they don't sacrifice any of their creatures that got turned into food. This is sweet, and it's our second mythic rare from the box. Very, very exciting. Okay, third time's a charm at the end of the pack here. We got our snow-covered forest. Our foil for the pack is an uncommon. What a great pack. Extra uncommon, double rare, including 1 mythic. This uncommon is Star Seer Mentor. It's a 3/5 for 5, including white and black. It's a bat warlock. It has flying and vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, target opponent loses 3 life or sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. Nice value all the way around. And of course, those are optional, so they're like, hey, I'm probably going to drop an extra land for the first time, or maybe I've got a bunch of life. I'll lose 3 life to this. Almost certainly not going to be sacrificing non-land permanents to this. But eventually, you don't want to sacrifice the life. Eventually, you don't have any cards in hand, or you can't afford to drop them. Your option's going to start running out with this thing. I love value engines like this. Again, a great attrition machine. All right, and our art card looks like Cruel Claws Heist. Yep. Okay, I had some technical issues with this. My phone storage ran out twice while I was recording this and stopped the video mid-recording with no warning. So I hope I was able to stitch this together in a way that is watchable for you guys. Anyway, I think this was a very exciting pack. I also was very excited to get our mythic bird dragon the other day. Let me know what you thought. Which of these mythics do you think is cooler or more exciting? And what else do you hope to see me open in the future? Thanks for hanging out. See you guys in the next one.